place in this world of ours, where the elephant man brought strumming his necks and he had too many powers. So I'm sad to see the grieving of the people that I'm leaving, and he took the road for God knows in the morning.
No touching in the spirit. Let's start with a little sound check. Can you hear me? You hear me?
Yes, I hear you, yeah.
Ashis, can you hear me?
No.
Oh, that's no problem.
All right.
But you can still hear me. It's only Alex talking to you. So this is the second episode of, how do you call the show? I don't know. It's this time we introduced something new. It is that you have not met the person before. So the sound of God coming from upstairs. So we'll shut up now and you can start. What's the first thing you see before you start talking? If you look at you're first busy with your paint or what?
I'm just going to pour the paint out and ask our interviewee.
What do you see first before you ask him? What do you see?
What do I see first? I see Black Sabbath. It's great. I see every member of Black Sabbath, including Ozzy, all in one man. But he's been down the beach. He's had a wee bit of a tan. He's got a bit of a tan. That was great, man. I knew my girlfriend was the right one when she started playing Black Sabbath in her studio, just making her product, as she calls it,
Maybe, Alex, it's good for Ashis to know this is the interview program of Alexander, where he only speaks about himself.
Yeah. And
every time there's a different guest listening to...
Exactly, and Artu, who is the voice from up above,
the voice of God.
He is here to remind me of that, so that I don't talk too much. So let me start with a question. I think that's probably the best way to do it. So, what is your name?
Ashis Brahma.
Ashis Brahma.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, almost sounds like hashish.
Sounds
hashish.
like it.
Yeah, do you get that problem when you go to foreign countries?
No, not anymore. I'm an old man now.
Yeah, you don't go traveling anymore now?
I can't. It's COVID-19 time.
You're right, actually.
I was in Germany, though, yesterday.
Really?
It was a very exciting trip.
Wow, that must have been. So how did you actually travel? Did you go there by train?
By
plane?
vehicle, by car.
Right, okay. So you went there for the day to come and then come back again?
Yes, because there's a meeting about COVID-19 or Corona.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
So you were actually attending that meeting?
Correct. Presenting there.
Right, okay. So what's your job? What's your profession?
Well, I have several professions, but one of them is as a doctor in communicable disease or infectious disease. In this case, we're talking about COVID-19 or Corona.
Wow. Yeah. This is a big surprise to me.
You didn't think that?
So
there was a rock singer.
Yeah. I thought
Black Sabbath.
I thought you were from Black Sabbath. So, okay, so the one question I want to ask you just from the top of my head right away, immediately, right?
Yeah.
Does COVID-19 exist?
Wow. That's such a serious philosophical question to tender to. Clearly, there is a pattern in RNA and DNA which represents COVID-19, and it comes from bats and through certain other animals like the pangolin, in Dutch schubdier. It has spread to human beings. So when is something an entity is when we describe it in the metaphysical realms of medicine, and we say this exists. And not only does it exist, but it also causes disease.
Right, okay.
And that's what we're seeing right now. So the answer to your question is unequivocal, yes, it does exist.
That's good to know. That is good to know. And so this is based on studies from where, which countries were studying this?
Well, right now, all the countries in the world have COVID, maybe not on Antarctica, but most countries are affected by COVID.
Yeah.
And the studies came first and foremost from China, because that's where the outbreak started. That's also where this virus spread from an animal to a human being, which is called a zoonosis, animal disease spreading to human disease, becoming a zoonosis.
So I see you're taking the first paint. You've learned from last time to not wait for the last 5 minutes to start painting,
Well-
Alex. That's
well,
good.
the thing,
But before, because zoonosis is of course one of the specialties of Ashis, so it's interesting to talk about that. But like, how are you approaching this portrait here now? And
Well-
did it change like what you heard now that what you had in your first mind, or
Well,
you didn't know what to do anyway?
I feel like I'm more interested in hearing what Ashis has to say. You know, I don't mean like that, like I wouldn't kind of like from any other guest, but I would let them do the talking and kind of like pick up on bits of it, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this is pretty kind of a detailed subject and quite close to the, obviously seriously close to the bone right now in this time.
Exactly.
It's the you know, it's the word on everyone's lips. It's the thing that people are, I think the world is confused right now, really,
Yeah, but
totally.
so before Alex, not the approach of the interview, of course, but the approach of the portrait that you're
Oh, yeah,
going to start right
the
now.
portrait. So,
You're going
well,
to put the first
The
paint
portrait
on
of,
the.
of the painting as a young man.
I feel a kind of blue sky going on here immediately, right? Some kind of like, I just want a blue background. I just feel it. I feel hope, you know, that Ashis is going to give us some hope here.
Yeah.
And he has a smile on his face.
Of
He's
course.
just back from Germany,
Yeah, it's
having had this
freedom,
this
leisure to travel.
and so you were one of the few being given that chance or that right to enter the country because of obviously the situation, right? What you were discussing, right?
Yes.
Okay, so so coming back from this trip, was it positive?
Yeah, absolutely. Because in Germany, they are very far advanced in what we call testing of COVID and giving it a place and a name. Well, you just asked me, does this entity exist? Well,
Yeah.
in Germany, they prove it a million times over
Yeah,
because they do so many tests.
yeah,
Now, the difference between Holland and Germany is very interesting because in Holland we test much less than in Germany. So we were asked by the German neighbors to test more. There's a specific outbreak in the meat industry, and we've been asked to collaborate with our neighbors, our eastern neighbors, to make sure that we get into the right picture, the right frame, a blue sky, that we know what's going on.
yeah.
So we're going to test more in Holland and collaborate with our Germans just across the border.
Now, the one thing that I was just a bit worried about as on a personal level about this whole thing was that, you know, at some point, right, if they brought out a vaccine, do you think it would be this idea of it being mandatory, this kind of, you know, everyone getting the vaccine, and if you don't take it, you know, you'll lose privileges or something in the country, or you'll be actually classed as someone who could maybe be easily contract the virus or something, right? Now, do you think that is, I don't know, is that, I mean, does that, where do the rights of a human being stand with that? Do we have human rights? Do we have the right, surely we have the right to say no as well?
We have the right to say no.
Right.
There's nothing compulsory in the
Yeah.
Dutch vaccination program.
Yeah.
There never will be something compulsory because it doesn't work. There's time and time, tests and tests, research and research again that shows that if you explain why you should vaccinate, 95% of people will apply. 5% of people have different opinions
Right.
and they will not participate. And this means that they can have it their way because there's something called herd immunity.
Yeah.
That if 95% of people are vaccinated, that actually you are protected against all vaccine preventable disease.
Yeah.
So the answer to your question is very simple. Sometimes it's been discussed, can you make it compulsory to do a vaccination? The answer is clearly no. That's not the way how it rolls. That's not how I want to act. That's not how our government wants to act.
Yeah.
So there'll be no compulsion.
Okay.
However, there can be limitations and restrictions if you refuse to use a vaccine. Take an example, not for corona or COVID, because there's no vaccine right now, but there's this huge discussion about when you take your kids to a childcare center, that some parents refuse to vaccinate. Well, this is all fine and good and everything, but other people do vaccinate, and it's not really well, I don't know, it's not really fair, or it's not really nice to other parents if you are unvaccinated and you walk around, you form a risk for children.
Alex, before you start, like you are, it's the headphone. The skin tone, is it a different skin tone?
Yeah, the problem here is I don't have any black. I don't seem to have brought my black with me to make a
you
brown.
make me blue, man. What do you
Now,
care? Make me a Smurf.
but, you know, like I think I might try
Isn't
a
yellow
bit
and
more
What do
green
you
brown?
think of the skin
yellow.
tone? Of
No, yeah, a
Ashis
little bit
yellow
of
skin tone?
yellow. A little bit of yellow sorted this out, actually. It's
Skin
gonna-
tone is, of course, always a
Yeah.
difficult piece to get it right. What do you think of Ashis' skin tone?
I think his skin tone's magic. I mean, you're talking like... I tell you what, the irony of
Where do you think the skin tone comes from?
I think possibly... I don't know, he's got a bit of Demis Roussos going on about him. But, you know, so possibly a bit Greek, maybe. Possibly, I don't know, like, he could even be French. He could be anything, anywhere, from anywhere.
Well,
like,
I did
you know what I'm saying?
date a Greek lady for
Yeah.
5 years, but that doesn't make me a Greek.
Yeah,
My
yeah.
dad comes from Calcutta
Right,
in
cool.
India. My mom
Wow.
comes from Holland. So
Yeah.
that makes me a hybrid.
Have you been to India?
I lived there for 2 years. I've been
Wow.
there over 20 times.
Yeah.
It's my heart and soul. It's where I
Yeah.
come from. It's where my grub comes from.
Yeah.
It's where my music comes from.
Yeah.
My philosophy in life, and also
I think that's beautiful.
a wonderful country to travel.
Yeah,
into.
it is. I've been there. I've had the
I'm
most
sure you've
amazing
been.
time
You see
there,
your beard.
man.
It
Yeah,
must
yeah.
be a Goa beard.
It was yeah. Well, I was actually originally. I went to Kerala. That was the first time I went there.
Yeah, sure.
I went there, and the second time I went there too. But then I travelled up to Goa, and you know the Indian people. Wow, man! I mean, you know, I was like, you know, did the classic thing with the motorbike, then full bullet, went across, you know, like to Hampi, going through these, you know, like fields you know, like you know, miles and miles and miles of fields. People working in the fields, and they all want you to beat the horn. You beat the horn, and they all wave at you and smile. And everyone's
Yeah,
smiling
sure.
because they've got a job, and it's sunny, and they get off in what they've got. You know, like children working at the side of the road with their entire family. You know, the grandmother with the baby building, chopping up literally a giant rock. You know, the eldest son chopping up the giant rock, and each other member of the family chopping them right down to make gravel.
Yeah.
And they've got a rock breaker, but they don't. They put it out of commission. You know, because they want to give everyone work. You know, I think that's beautiful, right?
Well, it's beautiful.
As the word of God, you can talk and paint at the same time. So.
Okay. So, I just wanted to get that wee bit of India out there. But I'm going to give you some blue here because I feel like we're getting.
Yeah, I'm a
into
Smurf.
We're getting into the Indian kind of territory. You know, that kind of that thing where all the goddesses and things like that have these kind of like blue hair, blue faces. You know, yellow hair, blue face, you know, all different things like that. I see that happening a lot, you know, when I was in India. So where in India, where is your father from?
Calcutta.
Oh, right, you said that, right, okay. So is all his family from Calcutta, or were they from the country?
Well, his
or-
wife is not. He's from
Right.
Holland, but all
Right.
his family is
Yeah.
from Calcutta. But they
Yeah.
spread diasporic, you know, a highly educated family from India, going
Yeah.
all over the world, living in Singapore, United States, UK, you name it, they're there. Holland,
Yeah.
France, you name it, and they've been there or they live there, and they've spread. And then my dad's 87, so there's quite a couple of generations after him, and people tend to
Yeah.
travel all over the world. So, and also in India,
Yeah.
so that makes it a very diasporic family, which makes
Yeah.
us in transition all the time and makes it a special feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
to live
cool,
like
man.
that.
I
Different
like that.
cultures,
I
mixed
like that.
cultures.
Yeah, you've got a really good. I like your whole kind of the vibe. You know, it's like you're really an open individual. I can really feel that. You know.
Did you expect him to be an expert on the Zoonoso?
Absolutely not. I thought you were going to, because you knew R2. I thought, well, because R2 got, found you, discovered you for this.
People,
I just assumed that you might be a rapper, or you might be, or you might be in Black Sabbath. I don't know.
Maybe. Well, I do write poetry, and I did write a
Yeah.
book, and I want to make documentaries, and
Yeah.
there's sort of a free spirit living within me. And I'm
Yeah.
a medical doctor. Gives you opportunity to talk with people
Yeah.
and collect stories, basically. And so
Yeah.
I am a storyteller as well. And I
Yeah.
think more and more I realize that in my career I want to do that. And of late I have been in the national media, newspapers, magazines,
right,
television,
cool. Yeah.
radio, Facebook, you name it. All of this to promote the idea that we need to get used to Corona being around us. But this
Yeah.
is one of the themes that I address
Right.
and actually like to talk a lot. So
Right.
I like to talk about different topics as well.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Right. So, right, imagine you were in an interview situation
Oh.
and it was about you
Ah.
and not about COVID, let's say, right? What are the things that sort of turn you on separate from, say, your profession? What kind of things get you off? What's your vibe? What's your...
I think I like people who are spiritually connected to
Yeah.
one another, and that doesn't mean you have to be a religion or not. I believe people have their own religion. I don't like to talk about religion. I like to talk about what people do in their lives,
Yeah.
their karmic path,
Yeah.
what they do, what they really are about. So there's no hanky-panky or jizzy-busy with me. I like to talk about real things.
Yeah. What was the other word you said
Yeah,
after?
I don't know.
Hanky-panky, what was that?
Hanky-panky and
What-
jitty-bitty or whatever.
Jitty-bitty? What's jitty-bitty?
I don't know.
I don't
I like
even
Adda.
slang.
I like
love the
bullshit.
sound of it.
No, I like bullshit. I mean, I
Yeah.
like to talk art. I like to talk
Yeah.
about football, beautiful women. Obviously,
Yeah.
I'm just a normal bloke in that
Yeah.
matter. But I do like to talk about deep spiritual issues.
Yeah.
And besides, there's talking and there's doing. So
Yeah.
I'm I'm also a fireman with the Sweat Lodge in a peace ceremony. I'm a
right,
Reiki
excellent.
I'm a Reiki master.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Wow. I
Yeah.
had a lot of Reiki done on me.
Really?
A friend of mine, she actually cured a friend's mother from cancer.
Yes,
I mean, like,
yes.
I'm not kidding. It really happened. The doctors were like,
Give up.
we don't know what happened to that tumor. It disappeared, And also, and she did the thing where she kind of balanced my chakras. Every time I go to Glasgow, she's one of my best friends. Lou, she's brilliant. And when she did that, I mean, I had like 2 days of headaches, all kind of like stuff. There's obviously all this stuff coming out. I was amazing after that, really got it
I
together.
get that. It's about balancing in life. It's
Yeah, totally.
Yeah, I've lived a pretty hectic life
Yeah.
with a lot of ups and downs,
Yeah.
a lot of travel. I've worked in over 15 countries, traveled in 60, and yeah,
Yeah,
it's been hectic, my life. So this time now I have 2 small children who are 6 and 9. I need to provide for them. And so there's a sort of
Wonderful.
a balance of natural sense
Yeah.
that I need to be there for them,
yeah,
which gives an opportunity to actually create a home, not
Yeah.
only a house. I have a home. I'm building or having somebody build my own little veranda with a beautiful Japanese-inspired pagoda in the garden, and I lie there and I think
Really?
and I ponder about life.
really.
And I write a poem or I sing a song. I like singing, I like dancing, I like cooking. So basically all the finer arts in life. And the one thing I'm afraid of is painting.
Yeah.
So I have a buddy who is a infamous painter, pretty famous painter
Yeah.
in Holland, and I want to paint with him, and there's something that we've been talking about. He's always saying, I like your poetry. I said, I like your paintings. Let's do it together. So
That's
I'll
amazing.
paint with him.
I look
I'm
forward to seeing
curious
those
that
paintings.
you are like capable of throwing away. It's like for me, going painting is going nude,
Yeah.
right? How do you feel about painting?
It's still the same, I mean, like every time I tackle a painting, I don't know what I'm going to do. I have no idea. I have no clue. Really, there's absolutely nothing. There's no clue there.
You got a paddy?
I've got something really spectacular, right? Okay, so because I'm from Scotland, I thought
This is
I'd
not
do something.
haggis.
I thought
This
I'd
is
do-
not haggis,
No, this
is
is
it?
not haggis. This is vegetarian,
It's
right?
vegetarian.
Okay, there's an egg involved, right, to
Not-
get
not vegan.
bind the cake of it, right? And sour cream and flour and some baking powder and a tiny little bit of sugar and a pinch of salt. That's all it needs, really. Now, this is what is commonly known in Scotland as scones.
Yes!
Or scone, right?
Go on.
And so, I have for you
A scone.
Yeah, a scone. Right, I've got one for R2 as
Well,
well.
scone them up, buddy.
And we're going to have scones, right? So, and I baked them this morning. Because my girlfriend...
This is what you guys
every now and
throw
then-
at politicians when you are not agree with them? Throw them at their heads? Or is it softer?
I
So
wanna
you
give you
throw a
this
scone
one.
at
This
people when
one's
you don't
good.
like them? Is that what's really
Yeah,
happening?
you do that with the scone.
with the old scones,
Yesterday's
yes.
scones, and you pronounce them scones, not
Scones.
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 Well, unless you're Jamie
They
Oliver.
sound like goons, by the way.
If you're Jamie Oliver, you'll call him a scoon, right? Because I did actually
Scoon.
check Jamie's page today to see what the difference
So
of
you
his scone
give
making.
on them, but you use as a recipe.
Yeah, well, it's my granny's recipe. You know,
Is it a spoon
So-
or a goon?
it's a scone.
It's a scone.
It's also not. Well, there's an old joke. What's the fastest cake in the world?
a scone.
Scone.
It's gone.
You go scone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
It's gone.
That's the fastest cake in the world. Okay, right. So, and we have this with.
Marmalade,
What?
self-made.
No, we have some
a
lovely
wee bit of jam, jelly.
strawberry jam,
That's
and we have some
strawberry jam.
butter. I would normally have the old clotted cream, right? But that's pure heart attack material, right?
So this is,
And,
you
uh,
carry
so
like
we
a
have this
little
really
thing
nice
where you can
butter.
carry the butter, or was it?
Yeah,
This
you know,
is your
like it's
butter
a little,
carrier?
like a milk churn thing that turns
Is
you know,
yours,
into a
or
butter
did
cream
you-
churn
into
thing.
butter. You know,
Do you actually use it more often, or is it the first?
well, this was given to me by my lovely girlfriend.
Oh, okay, that's good.
Which one?
Which one? Yeah,
Yeah, that's maybe
the new one.
That's
And,
interesting to,
so-
to take. He found just before the pandemic and the self-isolation, he found the love of his life.
So are you living with her together? How are you seeing her? You're breaking law.
You know, she spends some. Oh no, we got together. Luckily, we got together before we kissed before COVID, the outbreak, right?
we sealed it with a kiss.
Yeah, it started with a kiss, right? And it started with a dance. Actually, we danced to "I
Which
Want
song?
Your Love,
I want your love.
right? So I mean, literally, that track came on. My friend was DJing Chris. It was my birthday. It was just over there actually, and I went, put my hand out like this. She took my hand, and we just. That was it. That was it.
Maybe you prepare the scone, because we
Yeah.
we
So-
have around 15 minutes to enter.
So we're getting the scone going.
We get the
We've got
painting
some
going.
scone
Everything's going on at the
action.
same time.
I get
I
some
can feel
butter
the
on
love in
there.
the air.
Right, and then okay, here, dig in with
Mr.
the jam. Here, you can do that.
Are you a
I'll
good
do
dancer,
mine.
Alex? Are you a good dancer? I never looked at you that way, but
I think
Are you a
he's
good
a
dancer?
strip
I,
dancer.
I think I know Ashis is a good dancer for sure.
You know, people wonder why I'm the greatest dancer. They really do. I mean, you know, and I do as well. You know,
You're
but
Scottish, but
but
you're
I
just
could
good.
tell you know, I did
Kick-ass.
actually get dancing lessons when I was a child. It was one way that our parents got rid of us for a few hours on a Sunday, was to take us down to the local Mormon church, right? And we weren't Mormons, but they were giving away free sweets and cake for the kids, and they'd give them dancing lessons. So they just went down there. What do you think of my
I think
granny's recipe?
Is this why you took the red paint as well, so you can like put in the jam on the beard of?
Yeah, I
Ashis
might.
later?
Yeah, we could put a little bit of jam round the beard. I think it's like
Why
that's a
not?
nice touch. What a great idea!
Oh, sorry, I
right,
don't
okay.
want to get into your.
No,
painting.
that's what it's all about.
He
It's
wants to
about
get involved in this
collaboration.
interview.
It's about
Why
collaboration.
don't you co-interview, man, if you want to be involved?
I just the
No,
I just
man
did.
behind, you know,
yeah,
stage fright.
yeah. He needs a voice to tell him to stop talking so much.
You overtalk.
I have that at home.
So, I can imagine. Right, so
So I think the concept of the scone is good, but it takes away some time of the painting. of
yeah,
course, but,
it does. But you know what? It's the special one, right? Because it's special COVID-19.
I
Oh
see.
God,
Next
I'm
year,
going to eat
getting
it. I was
down with
hungry.
COVID-19.
For me, it
before.
makes me go,
This is
man.
COVID-19 therapy,
I
right?
need this therapy.
I
Yeah.
need the scone. I need the scone.
The scone.
Okay, we give one to the
Well,
voice
it's not a
of God.
scone, it's a
I
scone.
think we should offer one. It's a scone.
The
not a
scone is
spoon.
gone.
Right, there you go, my friend. All
The
right,
scone
you can
is
take
gone.
that one. I'll take this one. So I need to. Right.
I'm saying the scone is gone, but you need to pick up the pace, otherwise your painting
Okay,
will not be
right.
dry.
Papa Smurf needs some more attention.
That's bloody delicious.
Yeah, that's
Okay.
nice. I would not throw it. It doesn't matter how bad the politician is, I would not throw this at him. I would eat it.
Okay.
I'll find a rock and throw that.
I'll
I'm
eat
doing
it.
lips here. We're doing lips. Yeah.
So maybe I interrupted you guys in one point where Ashis told one of his specialties, the zoonosis. So
Zoonosis.
Zoonosis. Transfer of diseases from animals to
Humans.
humans, which is a really
Hot.
scary thing.
So,
Skull.
do you know
Scary.
anyone? Have you met anyone who's had COVID?
Yeah. One of my best colleagues almost died of COVID the last couple of weeks.
And was it the respiratory thing going on there? Is it the lungs? Is this the thing? It's
It's
like
the thing with the
attacking the lungs, right?
Yeah, so she was on a holiday in Cape Verde,
Yeah.
Verde as we say in Holland.
Yeah.
And she was tested. She was the second person in that country to be confirmed COVID-19 positive.
Right. Okay.
And then came the nightmare to get her evacuated because there was capacity to put her in a hospital and to put her on a intubate to respirate her.
Yeah.
And so it took like 5 or 6 days to get her on a special airplane to evac her to.
Right.
This is a heavy thing, and I talked with her son for the last 3-4 weeks on a daily basis.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been like walking on a thin line. She had very low saturation, which means that her oxygen dropped to a level that she's not going to go very well.
Yeah.
She had other problems of not only breathing, but her heart, her blood pressure went up and down, and she had a fever that was irresistible at what we say 40 degrees Celsius.
Right.
I don't know how much is in Fahrenheit, but it's too
Yeah.
much.
Yeah.
It makes people really
It's like
really,
100
really
or
sick.
something. Yeah.
Yeah, she was really sick.
Right.
And she walked over the thin line between life and death. And
Right.
about a week ago, and this is a very sad part of the story, the sister-in-law of my colleague
Yeah.
got COVID-19. And she's a healthcare worker, and she had to work without protective measures because they were not available to her.
Yeah.
She works with people with a handicap. So she got sick. She's 45. And while my friend, who is a communication expert in our municipal public health department, got better,
Yeah.
this one crashed.
Right.
So the 63-year-old is now currently going to a rehabilitation home
Yeah.
to get back, because she'll be training for at least 9 months to get back all her muscles and
Right.
potential to speak properly and walk and sit and get over the trauma, the psychological trauma. She thought she died all the time. She's
Wow.
fear-laden.
I was actually in the room when Ashis, I was filming that day with making a short doc about Ashis, and I was there talking to her, and that phone call, it was a really painful phone call. It felt like that Ashis would be like one of the last persons to speak to her.
Wow.
Through like a doctor who didn't speak, he would spoke Portuguese to his people.
Yes, I
trying
spoke
to
Portuguese.
you don't even speak
I didn't even speak
Portuguese.
Portuguese. I tried to speak Portuguese with her treating doctor.
Man. And afterwards, Ashis was talking to her son, so her son actually could not speak to her, and Ashis could. It was like, oh my.
It's weird. And, well, she's better now, but the sad part of it is that while she improved, my colleague's sister-in-law didn't make it, and she passed away at the age of 45.
Wow.
Being a healthcare worker, and
That's
so that
not-
hit us like a truck,
That's
man.
fucked
It's
up.
like
Yeah.
unbelievably harsh.
Yeah.
So this virus, does it exist? Yeah, man.
Yeah. Yeah. Right.
And
Okay.
it kills people, and it
I'm
kills
s- I'm-
people because
yeah.
you get clots in your lung, and your lungs give up. They become fibrosed. It's
Yeah.
like you become tubes that are stuck together
Yeah.
rigidly. You can't breathe. And the reason why it hits people so hard is, first of all, is that we don't like to be out of control in the West. There
Yeah.
is no, that's what you liked about India.
Yeah.
People know that life ends at one point and they
Yeah.
deal with it.
Yeah.
Here in the West, they're such crybabies who cannot
Yeah.
stand the fact that they're out of control.
Yeah.
That's why I had to ramp up our IC capacity, our intensive care capacity. That's why we could never give up on all these people.
Yeah.
And we don't know how to deal with scarcity, because right now we have issues in the healthcare system that because we all focused on the one disease, we did the same mistake that we do in all African nations.
Yeah.
We get money for HIV or TB, we do that, and then we drop the rest of the programs. And so this is what happened in Holland. And you would expect this so-called brilliant nation to do better, but we didn't do better. And now we have another issue, that is we have a lot of care that has to be done while this COVID is still going on and will come back again.
Yeah.
So from the personal to the macro aspect, this is a huge crisis, which I don't call a crisis anymore, but a transformation in humanity.
Right.
People should be humble. People should understand that we are just this much in the eyes of nature.
Yeah.
We are nothing.
Yeah.
We are nothing with our science. Absolutely nothing. So big talks about vaccines and lockdowns and lockups,
Yeah.
all bogus, because in the end of the day, nature will come and wipe us out.
Yeah.
Earth has all the time in the world.
Yeah.
That's what the native
We
Yeah,
cannot beat
absolutely,
them.
yeah.
We don't. I like this little bridge here. We have only 9 more minutes before
The painting is finished.
No, before we
Just
put
doing
ourselves in time pressure,
a
and
wee
the hard
bit
drive
of-
will fail. So, just to, I think, like coming in and speaking to you a little bit, you are a little bit skeptical about all the things, and of course, it's really good, Alex, to.
I'm just speaking the mind of, I think, a lot of other people, you know, because there's so much. I mean, I'm.
and please paint.
I
while
don't
you're
really
talking to-
believe in mainstream. I don't really believe that mainstream media tell the truth about anything. To be honest,
Well,
apart
fair
from
enough.
maybe a cow that's stuck on the edge of a cliff. It's a funny story at the end of the news. You know, I think that
In other news,
I
there's a
think
cow stuck on the
I
edge
thi-
of the cliff.
I live in a world in my head where I believe that, you know, sport is just a distraction, you know, to get loads of people just
Not
into
painting.
mind-numbing rubbish, you know. That's why I'm more kind of on the arty side. But that's a childhood thing. That's a childhood trauma thing. Being subjected to football at a very young age and throughout my whole life, you know, trying to run the gauntlet. I came from the countryside, so I'm trying to go out into the country, out into the hills, and I have to run this gauntlet through this sort of concrete jungle where we lived, you know, on the side of a mountain, and try and get past all these people that are going football, football, football. Means football, football.
Scone, scone.
Football, football, scone. And they're all going football, football. Big Alex, you go in goal, right? You know, because I'm the tallest guy, right? I'd be in goal all the time, standing around waiting for a ball, you know, playing, you know, making designs in the gravel and shit like that, you know. And then all of a sudden a ball would bounce off my head, and then I'd have some guy rugby tackle me, you know, because I let the ball in or something, you know. I mean, it just drove me mad. I hated football, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's probably a lot of people out there hate me now because I hate football. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. I hate football. You know, I want to make an art project of a giant football so big that it's placed inside of every football stadium in the world,
They cannot
and no
play.
one can play around it. You can't play a game because the giant football's there. I want to make it out of a metal so
Football's
fucking
coming.
heavy.
Football's coming
that
No
home.
one can lift
no
it
one can
again.
lift it out of there, and they try and build new stadiums and keep
Football's
putting more
coming
of these
home.
balls. I mean, that's what I would do if I ruled the world, right? That, and obviously,
Sounds like a good
you know,
plan.
change the media and everything and
Give
all that stuff.
everybody free
But
money.
I'm really glad that you're here, right?
Yeah.
Because it does put it into perspective for me a lot more now, you
Yeah.
know? I mean, quite literally from the horse's mouth or something, you know, like the man who's been studying this, right? So I think that there is a danger out there, but many more dangers as a result of this have been caused. And you're right, it's a wake up for humanity. And I think it doesn't matter if it's COVID-19 or it was like, I don't know, we found out
Climate.
that the royal family really were lizards or whatever, right? Then, you know,
Climate
then at
change.
least, you know, whatever it takes, whatever the catalyst is,
Yeah,
right?
something has got to change.
Something has
A
to change.
change is going to come.
Yeah, exactly.
Change.
Exactly.
Alex, speaking about change,
Yeah.
Ashis is still naked on the bottom part, and we only have 5 minutes
No,
left.
I quite
so-
like that because it's just that's
I am
his
naked.
top.
So
Right.
are you,
but anyway, right.
close
okay.
to
no, I'm
nearing
gonna
because we want to
I'm gonna
see some.
make some stuff.
Make some
Maybe
Yes,
Ashis, you have some inspiration for musically for him to finish the.
Okay. Get some
Well,
on there.
I like to go with a bang.
Yeah.
And because you seem to be a disco boy like me,
Yeah. Cool.
I'd
man.
like to hear September.
Lovely.
Because by September, we're going to have another outbreak of COVID. But moreover, by September, we should be able to understand the meaning of what happened. It takes a time before we understand what is the meaning of what happened.
Yeah.
So by September,
We can all go out and fuck each other in the streets.
Give each other cold.
did I tell you
Okay, right.
I'm a sexual transmitted disease doctor as well?
All right. Okay. Not yet.
So I recommend you do that with a condom.
All right. Okay. Right. Yeah. Plus, I'd rather stick to the one girlfriend because she makes me really happy.
Yeah, I think so.
And
hope
she
so.
buys me the ingredients to make the scones.
And
right?
she gave you like a nice
a little
little
present.
butter cup. You
And,
can
dance with you, Mr.
and
Buttercups.
made me the little churn thing and everything so that we can enjoy that here today. Right?
It was phenomenal. What's her name, by the
So,
way?
Her name's Yannicka, and she makes masks. She's
Seriously?
been making masks. She's got a whole business in doing that now. That's her product.
So you have
She
one
goes
more
up-
minute to
but
finish
she
your
makes really cool
paint
ones, different
portrait.
kind of, I should have mine on just now, but I
Alex,
left
you
it in a
have
friend's
one
house.
more minute before we are gonna push it around.
Yeah,
Don't want to pressure you, but I
yeah,
do.
okay. One sec.
You can see Ashis is a good dancer as well. I mean, moving. It's
Yeah,
difficult
absolutely.
painting moving.
Um,
I think like in the beginning, like it looks a little bit like has a little touch of
I think I know what you're going to say. Stevie Wonder.
Bob Marley.
I've been called Bob Marley before. When I was skinny boy.
So how do you think Ashis and I met, Alex? What do you think?
at a disco?
You wish. We're both fratty boys.
You're both Friday boys.
Frat boys.
Oh, frat boys. So you did sport together and all
No,
that?
fraternity. Worse than that,
Oh, really?
man. Hardcore.
Oh my god. So you both like fuck pigs together and stuff like that?
Ashis is 10
okay.
years
Boris
older.
Johnson.
He
Yeah,
made
right.
me fuck some pigs for sure.
Yeah, all right.
Right, here we go.
So,
didn't know
yeah,
that.
oh, now you, with the
Get
last
that.
stroke, you fucked it up. Oh. I think it's time
I'm loving it. I'm
for the
loving this
reveal,
right
yeah?
now.
You need to reveal
Yeah, yeah.
the nude
Last
page.
one? Now you're gonna just
What, are
throw
you
some
gonna
throw some
destroy
stuff on it,
something?
throw
What,
some.
You're gonna make me an official Smurf?
Quick.
What do you want me to do?
That's what you
okay.
get when you
The
talk
last
too
little
much,
bit, the
Alex.
last little bit.
So it's about time for the
Oh, here we go.
reveal. We have
Oh,
three
so
more
sorry.
minutes.
Yeah, you're breaking the rules.
And if you reveal, watch out, there's a camera behind your canvas, so don't turn
Oh.
it around straight. And maybe just only take the paper off the thing and then you can stand next to
Okay,
it.
yeah, right. Okay, here we go.
We learned from the last time.
All right.
Yeah, we just knocked everything over last
Yeah,
time.
so
Right.
you take
Thanks
it.
for the scones, man. Thanks for
Yeah,
the interview,
sweet,
and
man.
thanks for
Cool.
being you,
Cool,
Alexander.
No,
Here we
it's
go.
the last part, so you get to see it.
You're very
see?
great,
Oh,
Alexander. by the way.
Alex, the
Why don't you
headphone
become
is
a
still plugged
goalie?
in, so you can take the headphone out.
Why don't you
Okay.
become a
And then you
goalie?
can
You
move.
look like a perfect goal material.
Row here.
Here we go.
Right. Drizzling and dribbling and making
No one left.
Oh!
No, walk, can you walk towards him? Go back and go in the corner.
Is that fear or joy?
It's you, man. It's you. It looks like you're kind of a little bit naked there because I couldn't get the line.
That's
It's
okay,
too
I
much
wanna
at the
be
end. I
naked.
like that though.
I like to be naked
I like
though.
that though.
What do you see in there? Do you see yourself, Ashis?
I think
or-
it's much happier in the Black Sabbath.
I think so. But people tell me I have one laughing eye and one crying eye.
Yeah.
And I see that there is one laughing eye and one crying eye.
Great.
You got it.
That's it.
You
Cool.
dig down. I don't think I have that dark, but you don't have brown, so.
Yeah.
But you don't know that
So
yellow
we
and
didn't
green
have. He
together
didn't
makes
bring the
brown,
black.
do you?
Yeah, but I'm kind
Not
of
in the
like I
mood.
just discovered that there. You know, I just mix stuff till I get something.
I think
Okay.
it's awesome!
Now will we
Excellent.
see Ashis dance, maybe?
Follow your inner beat.
One more minute.
The Macarena looks like it. Wait, isn't it the
It's one of those dervish spiritual
Ashis,
transient
thank you very much for being
Enough
here.
said! Time's
चोरी
up!
चोरी हम गोरी से प्यार करेंगे चुपके चुपके दिल की बातें यार करेंगे चोरी चोरी हम गोरी से
You can leave the premises. No touching. Leave the premises.
प्यार करेंगे
Thank you very much. Watch out for the scone.
Watch out for the scones. Scones.
आजा 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 आ